Hey Lucy, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm very well, thank you. Very well. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Long day at work and then just put the kids to bed and just came down in the office again.
Back to it.
Yeah, definitely. How's your day been?
It's been productive, so I've been off today. So all those silly little tasks that you just put off and put off. Today has been a day for trying to tick as many of those off as possible. With all the traveling and stuff that I've been doing, they've been piling up. So yeah, I've managed to tick a lot of those off today, which makes me feel good. Very productive today.
Yeah, we all need one of those days where we can just tick off all the pending tasks that you have in the list.
100%. A weekend is never enough because you try and cram in so much more things, like so many more things on the weekends that you don't actually get a day to either relax or do all your productive things. It's always a juggle. I'll sign a petition for a 4-day working week.
I think I did once. It never reached 100,000, so it never got discussed.
See, they should bring it in.
Yeah, I think we need to move to Netherlands. I think in Netherlands they have 4-day week.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to be working for them, so maybe in a couple of years.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, before we sort of get into the questions, what are you wearing today?
I am wearing my baby, my Grand Seiko SPGA 413. I feel like at this point, people associate me with this watch, so I felt like I have to wear it today. And she's my favorite. I don't care what people say about having a favorite. Like I feel like my other children know that this is my favorite child.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one.
What about you? What are you wearing? What's on the wrist today?
So I'm wearing a watch by Dwiss. So it's the model A1.
Nice. Is that a blue dial?
Yes, it's a navy blue dial. It's a waffle dial as well.
Oh yes, I can see that.
Yeah, and the loom on this watch is amazing as well. It's actually got the loom blocks.
I love a good bit of loom. Barely ever need it, but it's just fun.
Yeah, same here. Never use it in practical life, but I love it.
I just sit there and play like with my loom torch at home.
Yeah,
It's an exciting life I lead.
I literally just took a loom shot before whilst I was waiting for you here in the office.
See, only watch nerds will understand and appreciate.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, why don't you tell the viewers something about you? How did you get into watch collecting hobby, and what is it that you do?
I started quite a while ago, so my actual love of watches down the rabbit hole started maybe 9 or 10 years ago now. I'd always been into stuff that was, a little bit different, a little bit quirky, not the super girly stuff. Like, if any of you guys listening know of like Ed Hardy, like those massive watches that they used to have, like I would go for one of those with a skull on it rather than like a tiny little watch, probably made for little girls. But it wasn't until about 10 years ago that I've actually noticed and paid attention to my stepdad's watch. It was a vintage Datejust champagne dial bracelet. The Jubilee bracelet was stretched to hell. It's got marks and dinks and scratches all over it. This thing is well loved. And I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. It's really nice. It's very understated. When you think of, when you ask a non-watch person about a watch brand, they automatically go for Rolex. So for me, I'd kind of already not wanted something different out of it. But then I saw this one, absolutely fell in love with the fact that it was like all dinged up and, it'd been everywhere. And he's like, oh, do you want to wear it? I'm like, well, yeah, of course. That would be great. It's really expensive, so, I have to be really careful. It's like, no, honestly, it's literally been everywhere. So I wore that for a couple of weeks, realised I loved it. It was 36 millimeters as well, so a perfect size. Absolutely fell in love with it. he then started talking about like where things, you know, where he got a certain dent from, like the holidays that had been on, like all these stories that went along with this watch. And that was the point I absolutely fell in love with watches, and vintage watches specifically, for that reason, for those stories. So we then went down the rabbit hole of, okay, as I mentioned, like the Rolex thing, I was like, it's like the mainstream one that like most people know. What else is there? I've always liked things that are a little bit different. And then the search started, and it was kind of game over from there. You start, you know, I don't know whether you were the same, but like you start on eBay with all of the, you know, 20, 30, 40 pound ones just to see what they are, what they like. Like I accidentally bought a Frankenstein Oris. Obviously I didn't know because I was new to everything, but use that as a great excuse to get a watchmaking book, tinker around with the movement in there and like check stuff out. And yeah, that went down the rabbit hole. And then lockdown happened. Gosh, and then it just seems like so long ago, but also not. So my other half had an Instagram dedicated to watches. I thought he was really sad. I mocked him repeatedly for having this watch-related Instagram. I was like, it's so sad. And then lockdown happened, and I was, you know, as everyone was, kind of bored at home. I was like, okay, fine. I'll give it a go. I'll see what it's like. And then the community was just so responsive, so supportive, so sweet, so engaging and encouraging. I realised I was obviously one of very, very few females within the watch community very quickly, like very early on. And yeah, a couple of people were like, why don't you just start a YouTube channel? There's not many females out there you can kind of represent, and, you know, had people's wives coming up to me saying, I'm really glad you're here. Like there's a female voice out there. So that kind of spurred me on. Yeah. And that's how I ended up down the YouTube, Instagram, watch, deep dive, tunnel, rabbit hole. That is this industry.
Yeah. For those who want to check out Lucy's videos, I'll put the link in the description below. So make sure you check her YouTube channel out.
Yeah, the Watch Box Diaries. The name actually comes from, again, another lockdown, really sad moment. I was obsessed with the Vampire Diaries during lockdown. That was my guilty pleasure TV show. It's lame, but it's easy watching. So the Vampire Diaries turned into the Watch Box Diaries. And that's where I got my name from.
It's a cool and unique name, though. I haven't seen anyone else with similar names, so I think it's a good choice.
Thanks.
So yeah, tell us about your collection. How many watches have you got in your collection, and then we'll talk about your top 3 watches.
Well, it's quite varied over time. I haven't really got rid of a lot of watches since I started collecting. There's a really, really good mix in there, I think. I think I've got around 20 to 30 at the moment, but that is including G-Shocks and Casios, because they are a staple in any collection, I think. Like, I'm clumsy. I also, I go to the gym. And for me, like a Casio, if I'm going on a hike or a walk, or a run or, anything, a Casio is just easy to wear. And they come in so many different colours. Kind of like Pokemon, you kind of want to collect them all.
Yeah.
Catch them all, collect them all. And then the rest of it kind of varies. I started out with that love of vintage. So accidentally almost got a watch from every decade since the 20s, I think. I've been missing a couple of years. And my 20s one just completely died off, unfortunately. But yeah, so there's a lot of vintage pieces, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s, 90s. Vintage. mostly, I think. And then after that, there's, a couple of Amigas in there. There's a couple of micro brands. So I have a bronze Zelos. I'm such a huge fan of Zelos. Like, their use of materials and the way that they work them into their watches, small numbers. I think it's one guy that heads everything off. And I'm still so impressed with this watch years later. The blue of the dial is gorgeous. The bronze, it was my first, very first bronze watch. And if anyone listening, watching has a bronze watch, I'm a fan of the aging process of it. Like, when it gets, aged and tarnished, I love that age. I love that vibe of it. So yeah, I have one of those as well. I think maybe next year I may consolidate a little bit more and focus. There's certain watches that I'm maybe missing from my collection. I don't really have too much in the way of tool watches, and they're something I probably would reach for quite a lot. And I also maybe want a stone dial in there as well. So there's a couple of boxes that I think I still need to tick, even with all of those pieces in the collection.
Sounds good. So what are the top 3 watches in your collection? Would you sort of show us them and tell the story behind them?
Top 3 was so difficult, but there are 2 very obvious ones. Like, my Grand Seiko is 100% my number 1. I'm pretty sure it's my most worn watch since I got it. It was a gift for my 30th birthday a couple of years back now, from my other half. And the funny thing was, it was at the time where it was US only, which was really frustrating. But the moment I saw the pictures of it online, and I'm not a very pink person. I said earlier, things that are a little bit different, things that are a little bit more unique, not your standard typical, when you go to a watch shop, you're pointed to pink dials and glitz and quartz. But this Grand Seiko in pink, because it wasn't in your face, like super girly pink, I absolutely fell in love with it online without seeing it in person. I'd started saving up for it. I was like, that is what I'm going to get. That is the watch I want. I fell in love, absolutely fell in love with it. And then it turns up on my birthday, and I fully ugly cried that day. I just tears everywhere. And every time I wear this watch, I still get distracted by the dial. When you find a watch that, when you look at the time, you forget to look at the time because you're looking at the watch, and then you have to go, oh yeah, wait, what time is it again? I think that's what you want, that joy, that spark, that like love for watches. That's how I know this is a complete forever honeymoon phase, forever love. And yeah, it's super accurate. It's titanium as well, so it's super lightweight. It looks good on the bracelet. I've had it on a rubber strap before, a white rubber strap, and I love it. So you can wear it in different situations. Yeah, just absolutely in awe of it and absolutely in love with it. And I love that it isn't super pink straight off. Like, you have to catch it in the right light. Otherwise it's silver. And I get a lot of people going, oh, is that a snowflake? And I'm like, no. Let me tell you about it. It's a good way to start a conversation. So yeah, my number 1, my first favorite, one of my favorite watches, I think, will be my Grand Seiko.
Yeah, Grand Seiko is definitely something I want someday in my collection.
The Zaratsu polishing is insane. It's insane. Like, Grand Seiko can overdo the whole nature thing, and if you're not into that, we joke, like, me and my friends joke, like, you look out, the watchmakers and watch designers must just look out the window, see a bird flying past, and like go, yep, we're gonna build a watch around that one bird. Just, we're gonna bring that into a watch somehow. But it works for them, and they do it so impeccably. between the Zarachi polishing, like all those angles, the sharpness, with some of the softness and the textures and the colorways that they use on their dial, that combination of the two, then add in the incredible quality of their movements, the variety, the accuracy. For me, Grand Seiko are doing incredibly well. They're top tier.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think anyone else sort of makes movement like them. The technology that they use is spring drive.
Yep. Yeah. Spring drive, this one.
Cool. I was hoping to see you at the Manchester Watch Show when I saw Pauline. I didn't realize it was your colleague.
Yeah.
Who was there.
I couldn't make it. I had a family things, family birthdays that I couldn't get out of. But Katie's lovely, and she's arguably more impressive behind the counter, because she's all about the design process. Like, if you want to know about the design, which is primarily what Pauline is about, she's basically one of the experts in it. So yeah, unfortunately it wasn't there, but it looked like a good show.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, my first and last of the year. Hopefully I'll attend more shows next year.
I would 100% say get to them. Like, British shows are becoming way more popular now, so there's more coming out, which is amazing to see. And I feel like the British watchmaking industry as a whole has just completely boomed. There's so many incredible British companies that have come out of the woodwork, I guess, like, I'd say the last 5 years, and they're doing amazing things.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen a lot of new brands doing amazing things who are sort of designing in England.
Yeah, there's loads, and there's a lot more shows, as I said. So if you can get to Sun next year, 100% would say it. Not even just for the watch brands, because obviously that's amazing to see the watches and stuff, but the community. You get to see so many different people from the community, whether that's Instagram, whether it's red bars, whether that's general enthusiasts. Like, the community is one of the highlights of being part of this industry. Like, it's awesome. It's such a good time.
Yeah, that's why I like to attend the shows, to connect with the community. Like, when I was at Manchester, people were asking me, why are you not creating content? I was like, I'm not here to create content. I'm just here to connect to people and the brands, as a result of which I can create even more content.
Yeah. It's a balance. It's like, sometimes I'll go to a show and I'll get so caught up with chatting to people. I'm like, oh no, I need to actually make content. You have to ignore people for a little bit just to run around and see watches. Yeah. Sometimes I need to do the content. But everyone's so lovely, you kind of get caught up with it.
Yeah, definitely. Cool. So tell us about your watch number 2.
Watch number 2 is, so back, as I mentioned before, the Rolex Datejust 36 that kind of spurred on the journey down the rabbit hole. The joy of that is one day that watch will be mine, and I can add to the memories of it. But as a gift, and I consider myself incredibly lucky, like, the fact that I even have these watches in my collection. I was purchased a gift. Well, I got to choose my gift of a watch to have brand new, to make my own memories with it, get my own scratches, my own dinks, like, take it on holidays and stuff with me. And then to have that to pass down to my children, like my stepdad will pass down his watch to me. Because it was a Rolex that spurred it on, I went with a Rolex. And this was back when you could actually try on steel Rolexes in store to purchase, which is an insane concept these days. So I probably tried on 5 or 6 different colorways. I really liked the red grape, the purpley color dial. And I knew I wanted an OP because it was super simple and really low key. But I wasn't sure. I couldn't pick the right one. And then I saw this one. So this is my OP with the 369 dial. So blue sunburst. Almost looks like an Explorer. Almost. But it has that blue sunburst style on it. And I saw it and I was like, that's the one. That's the one that I want. 36mm, completely understated. Just simple. It's like, I always say about the Rolex Explorer, it's the perfect boring watch. And this to me is, it's almost boring, but then it has that bright blue sunburst dial. And to be fair to them, Rolex do a very good job of making a watch. If you want something solid and reliable around that price range, it's a great option. With all the qualms that I have around their marketing and their waitlisting and things, they do make a good watch. And yeah, so this one I've had for a couple of years now, and it hasn't got as much love as I should have given it probably this year, but it has been one of my favourites since it's been in my possession. So I've definitely got some scratches on it. There's definitely some dings. I'm definitely adding character to this watch for me to pass down, and I still love it. Absolutely love it. It's a bit more of a pain in the backside to change the straps on than some of my other watches, but it does look good on other straps as well. So it's a little bit more versatile. Yeah.
I find it quite strange that all the big brands, they don't come with quick release mechanism.
It's taken a long time for that to trickle down, because none of the big brands used to do it, and then all these micro brands started coming out with quick release bracelets and straps, and we're like, come on guys, you got to keep up. You got to keep up with these micro brands, because they will overtake you for the fact that it is way more convenient. So there are bigger brands now that have started doing it. Like my little Cartier tank has a quick release strap on it. Like I know Cartier are starting to trickle that in as well. Maybe it'll get there to some of the bigger players. Maybe.
Cool. That was a really good watch.
Thanks.
What's the next in the list?
I couldn't quite pick one, but I'm going to have to. So it was the choice of two Omegas for me. The first one was the first purchased or gifted watch that I got, that was more of a serious watch from a serious brand, not just I bought a 1950s watch on eBay to just to have an experience. This was like a more of a proper watch. So the Omega DeVille, very simple quartz from the early 90s. I love this watch. It was one of my very first proper watches. So that will always be a favourite. However, I'm actually going to go with another Omega, and it's simply an Omega. Nothing overly special about it. It was made in 1950. So she's an old gal, but manual wind. I've had the back open and the caliber's all intact. There's patina on the dial, so it gives me that nod to the vintage love that I have. Small seconds, again, I'm a sucker for a small seconds on a manual wind, vintage, just all of the tick boxes for me. And this was one of my personal first big purchases. So a lot of them before that had been gifted, or again, as I said, sort of smaller brands. But yeah, this for me was kind of a milestone in my watch journey. The fact that I'm in this, like, I really like watches to the point where I'm going to spend a fair bit of money on a watch, which is considered. You speak to people that maybe aren't necessarily into watches, and you tell them, how much a watch costs, and they go, "Oh my God, you spent how much on that watch?" And you say the same thing to people that are in the community and they're like, oh yeah, that was actually a really good price. Like, our perception of value and money and cost is, when you're in the industry or in, you know, into watches, is strange. It's a strange concept. But at the time, yeah, this was quite a big purchase for me. And again, it ticked all those boxes, and I love the vintage vibe, and the fact that it's from 1950 is insane. Like, it's so old and it's still working. Like, it's not the most accurate, but she's pretty and she's the perfect size, and this is a new strap on it, and she's a bit of a strap monster as well.
Yeah,
I gender my watches as well, and I name some of them. So if you've probably seen them, I call my Grand Seiko Cherry. Like, I'm like he, she. They're my children.
I think I might have seen that on one of your stories.
Yeah, my cherry baby, my cherry blossom. But yeah, she, he. I tend to make them out as though they're my children, because they are my children, along with my cat. So they're my babies.
Yeah, you got to look after them. And I love the champagne dials in a watch. I think the classic one is the Seagull 1963. I've got one of them in champagne dial with gold indices.
Yeah,
they look really nice.
That's a cool little funky little vintage piece as well. The Seagulls.
Yeah, there's a new one coming out in the next few days or next few weeks. So looking forward to that.
A good fun. The standard ones, like their cream dial one, I think. Probably see most of those ones. Not the best. Not the best, most reliable movements, but very cool aesthetically.
Yeah. I think for someone who's sort of starting out in their journey, I think it's a really cool watch.
100%. Yeah.
Cool. So as watch collectors, watch enthusiasts, we all have a wish list. So what does your wish list look like? What's
always
the
a wish list.
Purchase in your list?
Are we talking realistic wish list, or are we talking just if money was no object wish list?
No, we're talking realistic, that you were definitely going to buy.
Okay, so I am reverting back to my vintage love, my vintage era, and all of those things that I rebelled against at the beginning, you know, the small, the girly, the ladylike watches. I've become a little bit obsessed with like the 1920s, like Art Deco, interesting shapes, bracelets, like hidden watches in bracelets and pendants and rings. I'm reliving that like absolute love, and next year I will 100% be purchasing something within that Art Deco era, something with a secret watch in a bracelet, those beautiful little Art Deco ones, or a pendant watch would be amazing, or a little pocket watch even, just something that's not a standard watch. I want something that's a little bit quirky, I think, next year. And then I do also have my eye on a vintage Crador. It's bimetal, very angular shape, super thin. I think you can only really get them in like Japan now, but they're not crazy expensive really for what they are. But it's difficult to get one in the condition that I would like one in. So I would like to add Crador, a vintage Crador, an Art Deco watch, and if I can consolidate my collection a little bit more, because I'm running out of storage. I think I will probably be picking up more of a tool watch, so something along the lines of a Tudor Pelagos, for example. something that can take a bit of a beating, or even, you know, something like a Formex, or a Norcane, Nodus, that tall watch aesthetic, I think, next year. Those are the goals.
Sounds good. I think I totally agree with the storage problem. My whole desk is full of boxes behind the laptop. I've got 2 cupboards upstairs that are. One is like these are the watches I've reviewed. There's a cupboard which is like pending watches to review.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can relate to that, the storage problem.
Yeah. And like, it's not just like when you buy a watch, you have to keep all the boxes. So you have a box within a box within a box that takes up a massive cupboard. And then you obviously understand it, like getting watches into review, they come in boxes. So you also have those boxes along with those watches to just add to the massive array that you've got around. And then, as I said, like my other half is also into watches. So he has his own collection with his own boxes and his own watch boxes. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on in our house. So maybe a little consolidation next year might be a good idea.
Yeah, you probably need like a watch room each.
At this point,
just to store the watches.
If I had the money to have the house to have a specific room for that, that would be great. But unfortunately, not.
Yeah, in our house, too much cupboards are taken up by kids' stuff. The guest room is full of their stuff.
I don't even have kids. I have no excuse. we moved into a new house earlier this year, so there's a lot of renovations going on. So a lack of storage and renovations and all of the watch stuff. So we'll maybe next year we'll have this conversation again. We'll see how far along we are.
Definitely. Right, so the final question I have for you is, if someone is starting out with their watch collecting journey, what is the one advice that you would give them based on your experience?
Don't be afraid to ask silly questions. I think some people can feel a bit stupid asking silly questions, as they call it, or simple questions. Pronunciations, like how does this work? Stupid things like a mesh bracelet. How do you put it on? How do you change a strap? You know, the simple things to us that we, who have been into watches for a very long time, they just come naturally. You can feel a bit silly at the beginning, I think. So, like, don't be afraid to ask. People on the internet love answering those questions, by the way. Like, I get random questions and random advice questions, and I love it. And I know a lot of my friends do as well. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to experiment with different styles. What you like at the beginning might not necessarily be, how your journey progresses, and don't compare your journey to other people's journey. Like, the whole point of it is that you love it and you enjoy it. It's supposed to be a passion. It's supposed to be fun. So as long as you're enjoying it, that's all that matters. Don't compare.
Yeah, I definitely agree about the community being so supportive. Because when I first started about just under 2 years ago, I didn't know many people. But now just in a year and a half, I feel like I've known a lot of people. I've worked with a lot of brands. And yeah, a lot of the micro brands have been so supportive.
Yeah, it's a great community. Just whether you're working in the industry or whether you're part of the enthusiast world, everyone's really lovely. There's maybe like 2% of people that I've come across in the 9-10 years that I've been into watches that have not been supportive or polite, and that's it. It's really good.
Yeah, most of those people come on your YouTube comment section. I get them a lot.
I'm quite lucky. I don't know why, but I don't often get negative or derogatory comments. I know a lot of my female friends within the industry, they get a fair amount. I don't know why. I'm quite lucky.
You must be doing something right then.
Or I'm just really sarcastic to them back and they can't win. So maybe that's it.
Yeah, I just use that. I just use that as an opportunity to get the engagement going. Use the AI to generate sarcastic comments and agree with them more.
Exactly. Like you're commenting on my video. If it's a negative comment, you're still commenting. You're still feeding the algorithm. So thank you.
Yeah, keep coming.
Exactly.
Cool. Thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure talking to you and seeing some of your watches. Hopefully, we can talk again sometimes when you've got your new Credo in your collection.
Well, we'll have a little update next year to see whether anything's changed.
Cool. But yeah, thanks again for joining. I'll put your links in the description as well. So if anyone wants to check out Lucy's Instagram or YouTube, make sure you go and check it out.
That'd be great.